What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a stimulus package, stimulus check update. We're going to do a timeline update. So we have phase 3 starting next week. Who's going to be receiving their checks? That's what we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about the giveaway. So who won the giveaway? So we'll be addressing that. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of background what's been happening the last couple of days when it comes to the IRS and the Social Security Administration. So let me show you this article headline first. So 30 million people may receive $1,400 stimulus checks after Social Security Administration provides payment information to the IRS. So what's been going on is the IRS, the House Ways and Means Committee, they actually sent 2 letters to the IRS saying, what's going on? We need to find out when these stimulus checks are coming for Social Security recipients. And the IRS, they didn't have much. This first letter went out, they didn't have much to say. And then the second letter went out. When the second letter went out, that's when the IRS let the House Ways and Means Committee know that, look, we requested information from the Social Security Administration weeks ago, and we have not received that information, and we need that information so we can go ahead and send these stimulus checks to people on Social Security. And so that was surprising to the House Ways and Means Committee. They didn't know anything about this. And so they contacted the Social Security Administration, gave them a deadline, 24 hours. You need to provide this information to the IRS. And so now this information has been provided. So that's good. And now we're hopefully on the right track in moving forward. And we saw a tweet earlier today from the House Ways and Means Committee, and they said, yesterday we called on the Social Security Administration to immediately send EIP information to the IRS. Today we're proud to say our calls were heard. SSA has satisfied our 24-hour ultimatum to stop blocking payments to 30 million awaiting Americans. Help is coming. So that was the information that the House Ways and Means Committee, they tweeted out earlier today. And so I find it so interesting that everyone's using Twitter now. It's just amazing. So you get your information out via Twitter instead of putting it on your website, because most people are not going to go to your website. But you know what? They'll see a tweet and they'll take notice to that. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys the timeline and pretty much where we are at this point and where hopefully we'll be going in the very near future. Okay, so let's take a look at this part right here. We're going to start with the first phase. So the phase 1, 90 million people receive stimulus checks. 90 million to 100 million, somewhere around that number, receive their stimulus checks in that first wave. And so we saw that. Now the second phase, 37 million people received their stimulus checks for the second phase. Now that included 17 million people who received their check via direct deposit, and that was a total of $38 billion. 15 million via mail. Now this is interesting. I don't know of anyone who's received a stimulus check via mail. If you have, let me know in the comments section. That way I can let other people know what's going on when it comes to the mailing of stimulus checks. I thought that they were going to start mailing tomorrow, but apparently the IRS started mailing last week, but they didn't let us know that. And that's part of the reason why I said what I said a couple of days ago about the IRS not being transparent. Just let us know you started mailing stuff out. Let us know you started mailing checks out. That would have helped a lot of people, and at least they would have known that something's coming, or at least they were checking their mail for something. Okay, and then we also have 5 million people received, or they mailed out these prepaid debit cards. So they might not have received them yet, but they did mail them out, and that was totaling 11 billion there. So we have 34 billion here, 11 billion here, and 38 billion there. And so that is in the second phase. So now where do we go from here? And then you're also asking probably, well, who qualified for these phases? Because I didn't get my stimulus check. So who qualified? So mainly they were looking at people who provided their direct deposit information. Okay, so if you filed your 2019, 2020 taxes and you had that information, let's say you received a refund, and so they already had your banking information, they use that. Okay, that was the easiest way. And I talked about this before they even start sending out stimulus checks. Those are the easiest people for them to send stimulus checks to. It's unfortunate because a lot of those people are still working and probably put their money in savings. They were probably the people who needed it the least. However, those are the first people to get the stimulus checks. And then also people who were non-filers. Okay, so they used this non-filer tool last year. They inputted that information. Those were people that were in the first two phases. And so you might, let's say you're on Social Security and you've already received your stimulus check. Well, you probably file your taxes. That's why you received your stimulus check. Or you got on the non-filer portal and you inputted that information there. So that's what we're looking at for the first two phases. And so now what we're waiting for, and I didn't talk about the total here. So the total amount so far that they spent is $325 billion, and we're looking at 127 million people have received stimulus checks thus far. Now, let's move down a little bit and talk about what we were talking about just a minute ago. So Social Security Administration, they finally sent over the files, okay? And so now the IRS has them, so the IRS can start phase 3. And that should help 30 million people receive their stimulus checks. And so who's going to receive their stimulus checks? We're looking at people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, railroad retirement, veterans beneficiaries. Those are all the people that are going to qualify. And we're talking mainly about people who have Direct Express, NetSpend. So if this all works out tomorrow, they should be mailing out the checks that they need to mail out. They should be processing the direct payments that are going to be going to people who have NetSpend and Direct Express. And so some people might see pending in their bank account starting tomorrow or over the weekend. So let me know in the comment section if you guys are one of those people that it shows pending in your account, so we'll at least be able to let other people know, hey, start checking your bank account. So if we look at the important dates, and I've talked a little bit about this before, the 17th was an important date, the 24th was another important date. These are all on Wednesday, and now we're looking at the 31st. Okay, the 31st is the last important date that we're looking at when it comes to the electronic payments. And so if you're receiving a paper check, I did a video on that. It pretty much takes 2 to 3 days, and you have to know when they actually mailed it out. And apparently they've already started mailing them out. So like I said, let me know in the comment section. We can help a lot of people if you let me know, because then I can share that with other people as well. But that's what we're looking at right now. I mean, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We will see stimulus checks next week, and hopefully the vast majority of people will receive their stimulus checks next week if you have not received it already. And then you also have people who they don't have a bank account. They don't have an address on file with the IRS. So those are some people that they're going to have to track down to get them their stimulus checks. But all in all, I think at this point, the information is there, and we're getting a little more information, which is good. And I just don't understand why the IRS couldn't have come out earlier and told the House Ways and Means Committee, look, we're waiting on information from the Social Security Administration. They have not provided the first letter. They should have done that, because in that first letter, there was a deadline, a Friday deadline. They could have told them then, look, this is what we're waiting for. This is why we haven't given you the information, or we haven't started sending these stimulus checks out yet. So I don't know. It's kind of strange how things work when it comes to government. Very, very slow when it comes to the communication. And it just should not be happening that way. And when we look at this whole rollout, we've seen this before. And that's what's so amazing to me. This is no surprise that we've seen people on Social Security, people on SSI, SSDI, veterans. We've seen them be last in both rounds, both rounds before this. And so this is no surprise that they're last this time. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, a lot of these people who are receiving these stimulus checks, they really, really need it. Just because they're on fixed income doesn't mean that they don't need these stimulus checks. They really, really need it. The people who don't need it are people who are working right now and are at the higher end of the qualifications, and they're getting the checks first because they filed their 2019 or 2020 taxes. So I think it's just, it really is backwards how they did this. And like I said, it's no surprise. We knew that it was going to be this way because we saw it in the last two stimulus checks. So I want to know what you guys think. So let me know down below. Also, like I said, let me know what category you're in, and if you receive your stimulus checks or if you're receiving a pending. And that way we'll do a future video maybe in the next couple of days, and we'll talk a little bit about that. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I almost forgot. I almost forgot the giveaway. Let's go back to the giveaway here and talk a little bit about that before we go. So these are the first 7 people. Now we're starting from the bottom and working our way up. So anytime you see yourself at the very top, guess what? You're the winner. So Sherry Clark, you are the winner, and I will be sending you a Cash App. Congratulations. Thank you guys all for joining the giveaway. And if you're asking, well, how do I join the giveaway? It's on Instagram. All you need to do is follow me on Instagram. At the end of this video, you'll see a link. You can follow me there. You can go in the description. Also, there's a link there. And there's also another link in the description where you can find out more about the giveaway. So that's all I have for you guys. Please subscribe for more. Talk to you later. Bye.